Hello again. In the previous session, that is part 1, we have seen how to remove duplicates from the single column, as well as we have seen how to remove the duplicate rows from the entire sheet by using remove duplicates range activity. Now in part 2, that what we are going to do, we are going to learn how to remove duplicates from the entire Excel. Let me start with the scenario. If you see on my screen that I'm having an Excel with the name of student marks. If you see, I'm having multiple sheets, that is sheet 1 and sheet 2. So I'm having the ranges. You can see the ranges from A1 to H12 in the sheet 1, and after that in the sheet 2 that I'm having from A1 to I11 is the ranges that what we have. So, but if I assume if I'm having one more scenario like that, if I'm having n number of sheets, like sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 are different with the different names, how can I go ahead and remove the duplicate from each and every page? I can't manually go ahead and select the range saying that, please go to this sheet 1 and then selecting the, range from A1 to I12 or something like that, right? I want to make it dynamically, right? Each and every sheet I have to read it and then I have to make it dynamically. And then I'm going to remove each and every duplicate, whatever the duplicate values that we have in the particular range, then we are going to delete that one. This is how we have to do it in the real time scenario, right? Whenever I'm going to run my bot, then without using any kind of manual intervention, that I have to delete the duplicates, and we are going to decrease the human efforts. That is the purpose of these bots, right? Now I'm going to take a small project over here which I'm having sheet 1 and sheet 2. Now you can see over here in the sheet 1 that I'm having duplicate rows of 4 and 12. If I see manually, that I can find it out easily, 4 and 12, that I'm having the duplicate rows. What if I'm having some lakhs of records? How can I go ahead? We can't do that, right? Manually, it's very difficult to do that, right? And also in the same way in sheet 12 also that I'm having, you can see 6th row Rekha and 11 also the Rekha, that we are having the duplicate rows. So we have to delete these duplicate rows by using our bot. And if you have n number of sheets, and also each and every sheet we have to delete by using our bot. This is the small project which I'm going to do. Now, first of all, I will give the steps how we are going to do that. Okay, as the first step, first of all, we need to identify how many number of sheets are available in the particular Excel. Okay, get number of sheets available in the Excel. How can we go ahead and get it? By using get workbook sheets. In the previous session, we have seen, right, in one of the video that we have seen how to get the number of sheets and their names by using get workbook sheet. Please watch that video for that one. And after that, I want to know each and every. We don't have any direct activity to fetch the range from A1 to, if I'm having a sheet, I'm having a sheet 1. In the sheet 1, if I want to get the range, I don't have any activity to fetch the entire range as of now. That what we are going to do, then I'm going to read the columns, and then and also I'm going to read how many number of rows that I'm having in the particular sheet. How can I go ahead and do that? By using read range activity. So I will read each and every sheet by using read range activity. Over there, what will happen? I will go ahead and get the number of rows and get the number of columns. Okay. So if you see the number of columns and the number of rows, I will get it in integer format. But how can I get the range like characters with the A1 to H12 like that? There we are having the columns column 2. I'm going to add the number of columns plus 64. So what will happen? This one converting into the ASCII values, and then it is going to give the character of the particular column or particular index that which we are having in the particular sheet. Okay, once the conversion has been completed, now the real logic will start to remove the duplicates, right? So how can I go ahead and remove the duplicates? First of all, I need to pass the sheet name as well as the range. There we'll go ahead and do that to remove the duplicates range. And then I'm going to, once the sheet has been, first sheet has been completed, I need to, same process I need to uh, repeat again, right? How can I go ahead and do that? By using for each. These are all the four steps, major steps that we involved to remove the duplicates in the particular Excel. If you are having n number of Excel sheets, or if you are having in an Excel, if you are having hundreds of sheets also, you can go ahead and you can do that by using this bot. Okay, this is one of the small project that what we are going to do. Please be patient to implement this. And after that, we're having one of the challenge or the exercise. I will give it to you so that you can work on that one and you can get good experience on how to work on a Excel removing duplicates range. Okay, now let me switch to UiPath Studio. Now I'm going to create one more sequence by clicking on add sequence, and I will say remove duplicates from sheets. I'm going to create it. Now, as the first step, what we are going to do, we are going to open an Excel, right? How can we open an Excel? By using Excel application scope. Let me drag Excel application scope onto my panel, and then I'm going to select the file by using browse file, and then I'm going to select the student marks. Let me click on open. Now, so as I said, we have already got the Excel. Now, how can I find it out? There are how many number of sheets are available in the particular Excel. There we're having get workbook sheets. Get workbook sheets. Don't use get workbook sheet, use sheets, plural. Okay, let's drag and drop onto the panel. By using this, what you will get the number of sheets are available in the particular Excel. So if you see the properties output that I'm having the sheets property, let me create a variable by clicking on Control K, and I will say all sheets variable all sheets. I will start with var or will sheets var all sheets. Let's click on enter. Go to variables, and you can see where all sheets has been created, and the variable type is list of string. What you will get in the Excel, how many sheets are there? Sheet 1 and sheet 2, which it will comes over here in the list string. Right. Now I want to fetch the data from the particular sheet 1. There is one more small thing that we have. For each activity also we need to drag and drop. Before that, what I'm going to do, okay, fine. First of all, let me drag this for each so that you won't get confused the order. For each activity from the control panel, let's drag and drop. Please hold for a while. Okay, I'm just giving the values. What are the values that we have to give? Now, what I'm going to do, let's assume if I got the sheet 1. Okay, so sheet 1, in the sheet 1, how I will go ahead and read the data, how I will get the rows and columns, by using read range activity. Based on that we are going to fetch it out. I have given the steps, right? By using that one, that we are going to get the rows and columns, right? Let me drag and drop read range activity. First go and search it, read range, and you can see under Excel you are having read range. Let's drag and drop. Now to over here, the entire range that I'm going to give it, the range you can see over here, that is the entire range that I'm going to give it, right? So that we don't want to bother about that one. And you can see the add headers. I'm going to add the headers over here in the output. No, that I'm going to unselect this box because of I want to read entire data table. Now where we are going to store the data? In the data table. So I can say, you know, table or read range data table. I will say read range data table. Let me click on enter. Okay. Now if you see over here, the first thing is that sheet 1 you got it in the sheet name. How can I go ahead and make it This is also a dynamic, right? You can see over here in the list that were in the get workbooks sheet that we got the list that is where all sheets. It is going through the loop of for each. That's the reason I have used for each activity. In that, which I am going to use where all sheets. So you will get each and every sheet over there into the item, right? Now I'm going to replace this one with item. You can see item dot toString. Okay, so that what will happen, you will get the data into the item dot toString with the name of sheet name, so that the sheet one comes over here and the entire data by using double quotes, right, the range I'm going to read into the data table. Okay, now we got the data into the data table. Now I want to know the range in the sheet one, right? From A1 to H12 or A1 to I12, or what is the range that I want to remove the duplicates? How can I go ahead? I'm going to use rows basis, rows and columns basis that I'm going to get it. First of all, let me create a variables over here. What is the variable? I will say rows count, and it is rows count will be always integer. I'm going to select integer, and then by default I'm going to give it as 0. Okay, next one for the columns purpose also I'm going to use columns count, and I'm going to give it as integer in 32, and I'm going to give it as 0. Okay, now I want to assign what are the rows that I have, number of rows that I have, that I got it in the data table. I'm going to fetch it out, and I'm going to store in the rows count as well as the columns count. Okay, how can we assign the values? Assign activity. I hope, do you remember, right? How can we assign the values? By using assign activity, right? Now I will use multiple assign directly. In one of the previous project also I have not used multiple assign, right? Now what I'm going to do, first I will go for the rows count plus, how can I get the rows count? From the data table, right? Read range data table dot rows dot, okay, let me expand the expression so that you will understand. I'm going to add rows count, already we are having 0. For that I'm going to add one more thing like convert dot toInt 32. Even we'll get directly integer, but we don't want to get any kind of error, so that read range data table dot rows dot count. So count, you will get the property. You can say anyhow as integer, it will come as integer, don't worry. If you're not even giving convert dot toString also, it will store the values over here in the rows count. Okay, now you got the number of rows that you are having, you're going to save it in the rows count. Okay, and now I'm going to add one more sign. Now columns count that I want to get it. How can I go ahead and get it? Columns count plus, now right now I'm not going to use any conversion. Directly I'm going to use read range data table, which we got it, dot columns dot count. Okay, and let me go ahead, let me click on OK. So let me explain you again. From the read range, I have stored the data, entire data in the sheet one. That is sheet name. I got it dynamically by using for each activity. And then I am going to read entire data by using range as double quotes. And then I'm going to store the data in the data table. That is read range data table. I have created a variable. And now to fetch the data, that is, to fetch number of rows count and number of columns count, I'm using two variables, that is rows count and columns count, and I have given as int 32. Now let's assume the columns count, you can see over here, the first sheet I'm having number of columns is 8 and the number of rows is 12. So, but I need to get this H12, right? A1 to H12. That is what I want to get it. There is no kind of position. The position is 8, sorry. The position is 8. But now I want to get it H12. How can we go ahead and get it? Now I'm going to initialize, or I'm going to create one more variable like column letter. Over here, I have already shown you, right, how to convert the columns into characters. So what I'm going to convert dot to char, that columns count plus 64, it will give the values. Okay, now let me go ahead and I'm going to give columns letter. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to convert into character. So I will give directly from the character. Let me browse. I don't have over here, so that I will browse it. You can see system.char. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, I'm not giving any values over here. I'm going to leave it the default value as blank. Let me go ahead, let me save it. Now before going to convert into that, let me run the bot. Okay, before that I want to display a message, what is the row number and count. Okay, so I will get column number concatenating with columns count plus I'm going to concatenating rows count or number. I am going to give the output as plus rows count dot toString because of I had to convert into the toString format because the message box will allow only strings, right? Dot toString. Now let me run the bot so that you will get it for each and every sheet how many number of rows that we are having on. You can see in the sheet 1 I'm having 8 rows and sorry 8 columns and rows count is 12. Correct. Now in the sheet 2 you are having 9 columns and 11 rows in the count. Now we got it the output over here. But how can we convert the columns number into the column letters, right? Now I'm going to add one more thing over here. Or I have already added the variable over here. I'm going to use the same thing, columns letter. What I'm going to do, convert, let me expand the variable, expand the editor, dot to char. I'm going to convert into to char of what? I'm going to use the value columns count. So to get that value, plus 64 is the ASCII values that which we are going to use it, plus 64. And then I'm going to click on OK. Now, in the same message box, if you're going to get it or not, I'm going to add one more thing, plus column letter. I'm just giving column letter over here, plus column letter dot toString. I will convert directly into toString so that you will get it very easily. Now let me run the bot once again. Now if you see, the column number is 8 numbers that you are having, that letter is H. Correct or not? You can see, yes, H that I'm having. H11 you will get it, right? H and 11. You can see the row number I have given H11, but you will get it in the same thing. Okay, click on OK. Over here, if you see, dynamically I'm going to get it. Column number of columns that we have 9. You can see I is the value, column letter I, you got it. Now you got all the values what is required to delete duplicates from the particular range. Yes or no? Now let me go ahead. Now I'm going to use remove duplicates range activity. Remove duplicates range. Let me drag and drop into the panel or the sequence. Now I'm going to disable this message box. I don't want to display each and every time, so that I'm going to disable this activity. Okay, now I'm going to the same where I have to remove the duplicates in the sheet 1. This is the default property that what we have. Now how can I dynamically give that? Item dot toString is the name of the sheet name that we will get it into the item, because of we are going to use it for each, right? And the range by default we are having from A1, right? From A1 is the default one, nothing but from the starting to end of the range. I'm going to concatenate with column letter plus which one? Let me expand the expression so that you will understand it. Column letter plus what is the value that what we have, that is rows number that we have, right? Rows count dot toString. So the range I'm going to define it as A1 to the column letter H1 plus the rows count is H or whatever the count that we have, the number of it is already converted and stored in the column letter and the rows count that will get it in the same row. And then I'm going to click on OK. Now what will happen by using this? It will remove the duplicate from the given range dynamically from A1 plus column letter plus row count dot toString. Once it has been completed, now we'll come out of that, okay, or else we'll just save it right now. Now, once again, before going to run this, let me explain this. First of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the opening the Excel by using Excel application scope, and then in the particular Excel, if I'm having n number of sheets, how can we go ahead and get it by using get workbook sheet. Now, how can I read each and every sheet name? By using for each activity, I can go ahead and each and every sheet that I can read it. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use for loop. In that for loop, I'm going to looping read range activity to read the data in the particular shell. I'm going to read the entire range by using double quotes, so that based on that, I'm going to store the output in data table, that is read range data table variable. And after that, to fetch the number of rows and columns and the column letter, I'm going to use multiple assign, and also I'm going to use convert.toChar plus 64, which I'm going to convert the columns count into characters, and then I'm going to use the same values in the remove duplicates range activity to remove the duplicates into the range. Once it has been completed, it will comes out of the Excel. Now let's open this Excel. If you see as of now that I'm having Sandhya, right? You can see over here Bharat is there. Okay, let's see. I don't have any duplicates as of now. Let me add some more values over here. Rekha that I'm having some duplicate rows over here in the sheet 2, as well as in the sheet 1 that I'm having Bharat as the duplicate rows. Now what I'm going to do, let me run the bot without wasting time, and I'm very excited to run this bot to see the output. Let me run the bot. Excel execution has been started, and you can see. Now if you see over here, let me expand it. Now previously we had Bharat. Now that row has been deleted in the sheet 1. That operation has been completed. Now let me go to sheet 2, that you can see the row over here. The Rekha has been deleted successfully over here by using remove duplicates range activity. I hope you understand how to use remove duplicates range activity in this session. Now I'm going to give you one exercise over here. Till now we have seen part 1 and part 2. We have seen how to remove duplicates in a column, and we have seen how to remove duplicates in the entire sheet, and also we have seen how to remove the duplicates from the entire Excel. Now I will give you a small exercise over here. If you see, I don't have in the column A, B, C, I don't have any data in the columns 1. But in the column 4, I'm having some data which is duplicate, which may have duplicate. Let's assume I'm having Sandhya over here again. Okay. Now, how can I go ahead and remove these duplicates by using remove duplicates range activity? Please work on that. If anyone got the output, please share with me. Thank you for watching UiPath tutorials. If you have any queries related to this concept, please post them in the comment section. I will see you in the next session. Till then, bye bye. Have a nice day.